The escape route. The final sequence of the game plays differently with its own set of rules. First, let's go over the basics of the parking lot sequence. Your ally will stand in place until you enter the parking lot. After you enter the parking lot, there is no time to be saved until the Jeep starts. In other words, it's a bottleneck. When you enter the parking lot, your ally will search the right Jeep for keys and not find any. Then they will find keys in the left Jeep, turn the key 4 times, and then tell Snake to get in. At that point, you must destroy one of the barrels on the left side to blow up the gate blocking your route. Ideally, you will get a 931 on the escape timer. Whenever a guard dies, they will respawn a few seconds later. The top guards will not go past the Jeeps. Instead, they will stay by the gate. In the parking lot, the guards do increasing damage depending on difficulty. The timer in the corner is purely for tracking your progress, as you can complete the escape with all zeros. When firing the Jeep gun, you can either use your index and middle fingers piano style, or hold both buttons with your thumb. On PC, some prefer holding down fire and FPV with the controller and aiming with the keyboard. On all difficulties except extreme, you can pick up rations near the rubble and by the staircase. However, you should not pick up either of these rations. They waste time. At maximum, you should only need 1 ration, and there's a faster ration to pick up in the parking lot that many miss. Since you're waiting anyways, this is much better to pick up. In the bottom left corner, you can find this ration. So how do you deal with the bottom guard? There are several approaches. My preferred method is grabbing him on the left side of the lot. Wait at the middle of the Jeep until Otacon crosses the line in the floor, and run forward to grab the guard. You can also stand in the same area, stare in FPV, and wait until Otacon and the guard cross paths. Alternatively, you can grab the guard on the right side of the lot, but I find this more awkward due to more movement. Wait at the right Jeep until the guard turns the corner, grab him, and then drag him to the left Jeep. If you aren't worried about kill count, you can time chokes to kill the guard just before entering the Jeep. Mash choke the guard once your ally turns the key once. This will perfectly time Snake entering the Jeep and the Jeep hitting the respawning guard. If you are worried about your kill count, such as rank 1 runs on all bosses, you have 2 options. On the 4th key turn, drop the guard and enter the Jeep. However, you will likely get shot by the guard you dropped on the floor as you exit. Or, drop the guard in front of the Jeep so your ally drives over him. Drop on the 4th key turn, then hold left. This will lose some time, but guarantees you will have 0 damage going into the next sequence. When entering the Jeep, repeatedly mash up on the D-pad, so Snake smacks his butt on the Jeep over and over again. As the Jeep turns around, you can pre-buffer left and hold until Otacon says jump to aim at the guard near the barrel. Make sure to hold triangle to aim in FPV and square to fire. You will want to stay in FPV anytime you need to shoot, as judging your aim in third person is difficult. When the driving sequence begins, immediately hold right and triangle until you are aiming at this position. Use the edge of the metal being covered by the gun as a visual cue. We are approaching the first of 2 checkpoints. You will fire at least 2 shots into the right barrel, then aim to the left to hit the left barrel. On very rare occasion, you can get shot at the first checkpoint by the left guard. When Snake is shot, his aim gets knocked off into a random direction by a random amount. On all difficulties, you will take the same amount of damage from a guard or liquid shooting you. After taking out the 2 guards, aim at the corner of the door, just to the left of the painted T on the ground. Checkpoint 2 is trickier than checkpoint 1, as we have no barrels to shoot. Typically, Snake will get shot twice at this checkpoint. We know a shot connects by the guard's oof sound effect and the blood visual. Here is the layout. Notice that the guard closest to Snake is the left guard. Because of this, he will be the guard we go for first. Then we will go for the right guard and end with the middle guard. The middle guard's shooting pattern can be exploited to avoid getting hit. Whenever a guard gets shot, they can move into 2 other positions or stand still, This element of randomness can be a good thing or a bad thing, combined with getting our aim knocked off from taking a shot. The left and right guards can move into the corners by the Jeep. As you increase in difficulty, the guards take more damage to kill. Since we are aiming at the left guard first, we can shoot the other guards while our ally hits the brakes. It is more important to get a shot off on the middle guard than the right guard when hitting the brakes, because we can accumulate damage on the middle guard as we pass between left and right guards. Try to start firing when you see Snake's aim has passed the right guard. Why avoid shooting the right guard? The RNG factor. When the right guard goes into the corner, he is very far away. It's also difficult to land shots on both the right and middle guards. In an ideal situation, you'd hit both guards and the right guard would move to the left. Earlier, I mentioned it was possible to manipulate the middle guard's shooting patterns. This can be done with a left side start, but here's an example with right side start. I don't recommend right side start by aiming at ST and stop, because you won't always get 4 shots on the right guard, wasting time on easy specifically. But it is easier to fan between the guards on the left side when the right guard is down. To avoid getting shot by the middle guard, time your aim so you don't change direction while the bullets are flying. After checkpoint 2, we have one final encounter with Liquid. While Liquid has no visible health bar, practically speaking there is. We need to deal enough damage in each phase to enter the next. There are 5 phases to Liquid Jeep: Swerve 1, Tunnel Bumper, Swerve 2, Columns, and Side by Side. Just like the guards, Liquid takes more shots per difficulty. He also behaves differently depending on difficulty. To put it simply, each difficulty increase adds an additional shot to each phase. For example, Swerve 1 takes 3 shots on easy, 4 shots on normal, 5 shots on hard, and 6 shots on extreme. Counting your shots can help you predict Liquid's movement as he transitions between phases. During Swerve, Liquid will swerve his Jeep to avoid you shooting him. If you continuously aim at Liquid, he will dodge fire indefinitely. Therefore, we don't want to train our aim at Liquid, instead timing our shots according to his invincibility frames. Our visual cue to start aiming at Liquid is when he raises or points the FAMAS at Snake. His animation has 2 parts, raising the gun and aiming the gun. On Extreme, the timing for this is tighter than on lower difficulties. Aim as close as you can to Liquid's Jeep without him swerving. Aim around the middle line. If you trade shots with Liquid, which can happen on Extreme, and your aim is knocked off to the side, you should be able to move your aim to him just in time to get the next shot off. After dealing the necessary damage, he will transition to the next phase. This part is very key. We can deal 2 shots of damage, significantly shortening the tunnel phase. The hard shot is the first one. Do not hold down the fire button or Liquid will dodge the first shot. Instead, you want to delay the shot a small amount. Fire around the dash line in the middle if he comes from the right. Aim at his head if he is already on the left. Then hold down the fire button to get the second shot. During Tunnel Bumper, Liquid drives his Jeep into yours, knocking you for a moment and shooting Snake. When you shoot Liquid, his Jeep will be knocked backwards. The tunnel is the hardest phase to optimize, because a tricky shot that reduces Liquid's knockback saves a couple seconds. You need to shoot the gun just before getting bumped by Liquid, hitting Liquid at the earliest moment. You can press your luck by holding down the fire button and hoping it lands. We can use a visual cue to press square at just the right time. I look down and pay attention to the headlights. As the headlights are covered, I fire. If you do not land the fast bump shot or press square too late, there is a backup strategy. When Liquid shoots at you, begin firing at Liquid. Try to delay as much as you can. You will trade shots and then abuse iframes to land the fast bump shot. If you already took several hits and want to play it safe on Extreme, don't do this backup. If you mistime your shots, you will miss. If you miss, hold fire until he bumps you. Keep in mind, this backup is not possible on easy, as Liquid will not shoot you if playing on easy. If you miss the final bump shot, don't trade with Liquid, fire at him immediately. On occasion, when going for the fast bump shots, Liquid can transition into Swerve 2 by crashing repeatedly into your Jeep, which is annoying. If he does this, make sure to aim at Liquid to stop him. Swerve 2 is a repeat of Swerve 1. The only unique thing about this phase is the transition shots going into columns. If Liquid is already on the left, fan in after a small delay. You can always get the second shot, even if you miss the first. If Liquid drives from the right, aim across the line, wait for Liquid to cross over, and fire. During columns, Liquid will accelerate and then shoot at you. Adjust so that you aim for Liquid's head. Columns is the easiest phase of the fight, as you only need to find the magic spot to aim at, which is roughly around the center. The magic spot attacks Liquid just as he becomes vulnerable to our attack. The first shot will typically lead into the magic spot, so track Liquid. Even so, I recommend staying aware and adjusting if you need to. Pay attention to how far Liquid's Jeep gets knocked back when you shoot him. During side-by-side, Liquid will crash into the side of your Jeep and shoot at you. In most situations, trading with Liquid is not a big deal here. Aim at Liquid's head and the center of his body to trade shots. If you are on Extreme and running low on HP, aim more at his elbow and steering arm to avoid trades. Jiggle your aim to do so. Congratulations, you have beaten Metal Gear Solid. Now all that's left to do is skip the final codec. Naomi will cry and bob her head 6 times, so don't bother mashing during that part. There's a small delay before the final cry. Remember to have English subtitles on rather than Japanese, or you will lose time during the nuclear statistics on Integral. Finally, the cutscene of dog mushing is skippable on console, right after the end of the credits. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Credit to Tromboncino, The Englishman, Jaguar King, DLimes13, and Iceman. If you want to learn more about running Metal Gear Solid or other games in the series, visit MetalGearSpeedrunners.com.